Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about boundaries in cancer, energetic boundaries, and how they influence all disease, but especially cancer. And then we're going to do a wonderful, one of my favorite guided visualizations that help us establish good energetic boundaries. Enjoy. So, as many of you know, I work privately with people using the Bengston Method. I use my octave holistic healing approach to the Bengston Method. I also use it to nutrition. I also have my octave holistic healing approach to acupuncture. I also have my octave holistic healing approach to changing a diaper in a baby, which I'm looking forward to soon. Get to leave these beautiful mountains and go to a beautiful baby. Just so you know, my approach is not a method. It's something I apply to already established methods, my octave resonance healing approach. And it came out of me, my whole life experience of being a holistic healthcare professional for 40 years, but it really came out of this fourfold view of the human being: physical, etheric, astral, and spiritual. And I sort of reworded that with my octave resonance healing approach to physical, life force, emotions and images, which to me is the same as astral, and then the octave of self-awareness or spiritual. And I think that all of us can relate to these dimensions in ourselves, which is why I like it. There's nothing you have to believe in. You just okay, you can look at that part of you, this part of you, it's just the lens that you look at things. So there's that. And then octave resonance. What does resonance mean? So resonance in physics is when two things are similar, they resonate. So like in a tuning fork, if two tines of a tuning fork are the same length and you hit one, the other will start wiggling in the very identical manner. And so when we do distance healing, one of the reasons I think that group distance healing works is we establish a resonant bond with each other, and that amplifies whatever's going on. All right. So if we were doing just the Bengston Method right now, we could get on Facebook Live and chat about politics while everybody is spinning, and we could, or just talk about distance healing, and while everybody's spinning. And if the, anyway, so you could do that. But what I found when I did that is there wasn't much resonance. There frankly wasn't much resonance. And as a sound healer, I'm really more tuned into resonance than maybe a lot of people. The technical aspect, I think anybody who has an open heart can feel if something's right or wrong, and their intuition's good. I'm not saying that I'm more intuitive than the normal person, which I am, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I've thought about this, how we can do things similarly to enhance results. I think a lot of what the Bible says about belief is actually resonance, and a lot parsing out of ideas. Okay, so if you're not into that, just hang on, we're going to get to the healing part soon. Okay, good. So what I wanted to do today to get us resonating is an exercise I often give my my cancer patients. Now, cancer is a disease of chaotic boundaries. Probably all diseases are, but cancer is just like the big, no boundaries. Actually, not all of them. Something like some of the hardening diseases, like, that aren't inflammatory, that it just sort of hardens and shrinks. Those aren't, if anything, the boundaries are getting too firm. But cancer is a disease of lack of boundaries, right? The breast cells go into the bone and liver and do all sorts of damage, and You know, it can be lethal. So in this octave resonance healing approach, and I'm not saying this is the only way or the best way to look at anything. I'm just trying to get some traction with it because I like it. It's sort of like as above, so below. So if something's happening on a physical level that doesn't have boundaries, maybe something's happening on the etheric level or the life force level that the boundaries are confused. Maybe there's some emotional stuff or stuff in our imagination that doesn't have true boundaries. Like maybe you had trauma at some point and like some boundary was put in that just doesn't work. And so it creates all sorts of other problems in our boundaries. And maybe there's something in our octave of self-awareness where we don't have right relationship to the process, or the process of us being incarnated, the process of with our life, the meaning of our life. You could say a spiritual boundary is a thought that brings about the good. Yeah. So I want to do this exercise, okay? So we're going to use analogy, and we're going to pretend like that we're standing in the middle of an egg, and the egg is on its up and down part. All right, so the narrow part's at the top, and the wide part of the egg is down below, and we're standing in it. So imagine yourself that you're standing inside this egg. And make it be maybe as far out as your hands. So it can go underneath the ground that you're sitting on, about 3 feet. My hands are not quite 2.5 feet. Make it go around you and feel like you're sitting in it, and create this as an energetic force field or boundary that nobody can see, but you know it's there because you just put it there. So it's an imaginary boundary that is invisible, but it's there because you're putting it there. Okay, good. And now I'd like you to pretend like we're always exchanging energy with life. We are giving and pulling energy all the time with our environment, with our people, with our ideas, with the food, with everything. There's always this back and forth business going on. And now, a lot of us experience suffering and scarcity, okay? And I would say that one of the causes of suffering in this egg model is that we're trying to pull and push our environment to make it behave so that we get our supply of peace or feeling good or power. And I would suggest that in this model that this horizontal attachments, this sucking and being sucked at, needing other people to behave certain ways in order for you to feel abundant and peaceful and generous, or other people needing you to do a certain thing or behave a certain way or be a certain way in order for them to feel comfortable. I would suggest that is suffering. That whenever we're wanting something to be other than it is, because if it was different, we wouldn't feel bad, that's suffering. So I'd like you to imagine that the suffering that we experience is this horizontal attachment to things and stuff, okay? Where we want it to be right, or, if just that was different, if so-and-so wouldn't be such a jerk, I could feel better in their presence, so. And now let's look at the vertical axis, where I would say a unlimited supply, where you're free just to go get it, of every thought you would ever need is there. If you look at the vertical up, like the spiritual axis. So at some level we have the apparatus to think thoughts. We have the apparatus to get inspirations. We have access to, it's part of our makeup to have that. And we only, it's like it can't flood every thought in all at once, we'd blow up. So, we're getting what we can take in. but in some ways we are attached to an infinite supply of every thought that would ever need to be had, every inspiration. Okay, so there's no scarcity up above, okay? There really isn't. Okay, and now down below on the earth, we have the apparatus to enjoy our material things. Most of us can walk or ambulate in some way. Most of us can eat food or get nourished in some way. We can breathe. There's money that comes in. There's transportation. There's temperature control. There's all sorts of earthly things that we have the apparatus to experience. Okay. And when we are physically focused in our bodies, especially in these eggs that we're creating around ourselves, this it doesn't mean that we have all the money in the world and all the food in the world inside our egg. We have what we let in. Okay? And one of the biggest blocks to letting in this infinite supply, so that we suffer less, so that we heal, is these horizontal attachments. We confuse our mother with God. We confuse, I don't know, that beautiful purse with what it takes to be socially approved of, to attain social status. We really give our attachments to things a lot of power. Okay, so now I invite you, if you'd like to, maybe you just want to watch first because you don't trust it, but maybe you do, maybe you want to experiment with me. I'd like you to pretend that you have little strings going out to things and people where you need them to behave in certain ways or be different. Maybe you don't like your car, you need it to be different because every time you get into it you hate it because it breaks. Or, something like that, something where you suffer because something outside of your egg is not as it should be. And I'd like you to just unhook, pretend like these strings have hooks, and just unhook and call your energy back, because that's draining your energy, probably making you tired and sick. Call your energy back to you. And it can come right through the egg because it belongs in you. All right. You're giving a lot of energy to those objects and you're losing your power as a result of it. You're giving them your power. You're giving the traffic your power. You're giving, your money issues your power. You're like needing them but you don't need them. Okay, so pull them in. You'd like them. It's very clear that you'd like them, but let's just pull that in. All right, and then now love yourself a little more and unhook from other people needing you to be up to snuff for their worlds to fit. Unhook from the people that need you to live in order to feel good if you're sick. Unhook from the people that need you to be anything in order for them to feel good. And you sort of like return to sender with consciousness attached. And what you do when you do this is you free them to become vertically aligned and actually get their needs met. You could say we're releasing from codependence. Don't worry, we're still going to love each other. Just hang in there. Okay, but right now we're trying to feel our power as a separate individual with a boundary around us. Okay, and now, I'd like you to, now that you're free of these horizontal attachments, and really feel this vertical alignment that you have inside you. The egg has a little thing at the top. Here we go. And it's like a semi-permeable membrane, and it pops in anything that you need spiritually, like as needed. It's amazing that way. You don't get every thought that was ever thought, past, present, and future. You get the thoughts that you need right now. Same thing with the food. You don't get all the cheesecake that you're ever going to enjoy. You just have the meal that you want right now. Same thing with the money. Same thing with anything else. So feel like that you're aligned. And notice that it might get a little crowded in here. So we're going to do some house cleaning. And I'd like you to release through your butt anything that you don't need anymore that's inside your egg. It's like you're releasing your crap. And this is the easy stuff. It's sort of like making your bed. The whole room looks, it takes like 10 seconds to make your bed and the whole place looks neater. So we're not doing a thorough cleaning, we're doing the easy stuff. So take like a psychic dump and let that go. And just like in our bodies, there's nothing bad about needing to clean yourself. It's part of this cycle of life, because we do accumulate stuff that needs to be let go of. So let go of that in your imagination. Good. And now open your heart in gratitude to things outside your egg that truly, honestly help you with your physical existence. It could be something beautiful. It could be something useful. But get very, very honest. This is not a limerent, oh, I love it so much kind of thing. It's a, wow, my car is reliable. I like that a lot. Roof doesn't leak. Love that. My mother calls me like regularly. That's really helpful. And so without any strings attached, just feel gratitude and send gratitude with no just thank you. Just a thank you for at least one thing that supports you in your journey here on this earth. And feel how nice that feels, and feel how you can be grateful and give energy to the world and have this nice egg boundary around you. Okay, good. And now I'd like you to start spinning. Okay, so if you don't know what spinning is because you're here for the first time, I'd like you to imagine that your egg is spinning around you. You can turn it into a sphere so that it can spin every which way, but I'd like us to be in a spinning environment. This is where we start overlapping with the Bengston Method. We're just in the here and now. We've just established healthy boundaries with existence. And now I'd like you to pretend like this boundary that's spinning contains not 10, not 20, but hundreds of thousands of images of positive outcomes of future events. And they're spinning around so fast you don't know what they are. You might know what some of them are, but just feel how this boundary is helping you manifest things that you can be genuinely grateful for, is helping you coordinate, is helping you create, to co-create. And just stand in there and feel your spinner as this whole sphere around you. It can be an egg if you want to do like a little horizontal spinning. The shape doesn't matter as much as spinning. And it spins so fast that you can see through it because it's clear. Kind of like bicycle spokes. You can see through them when they're going. When they're still, they're pieces of metal that you can't see through. And just feel that. And now everybody spin their egg or their sphere at a speed that resonates with the intention of today's healing. And yeah, and I want to just give credit for this visualization. I learned it from Jane Bell many, many years ago, and I've loved it. I just love it. Okay, but she doesn't do the spinning. She doesn't do some of the other. I've modified it a little bit. But I just want to give her credit. And there's versions of this in every culture of having an energetic boundary around yourself. And I would suggest that if you found this energetic boundary 6 times a day, like maybe every time you wash your hands, maybe every time you eat, I don't know, hopefully you don't eat 6 times a day, but whatever. If you need to, that's fine, of course, but I'm trying not to eat that frequently. That it helps you have appropriate boundaries with life and helps you be honest with what's helping you and what's not helping you. You become more grounded. You become able to be nourished by life, able to be healed by life. Boundaries help us do that. Okay, and if a lot of us are here because somebody we love has cancer, whether they're an animal or a person or ourselves, this will only help them It'll help you if you're the sick one. And believe me, if you're here enough to, if you care about somebody with cancer enough to be here trying to help them, you need help too, because it's a heavy task to care for people with this illness. The boundaries are just bizarrely not present. The chaos of cancer forces us to find our inner alignment, because there's nothing outside of us that has any sort of guarantee, so we don't even confuse it with a guarantee. Whereas normally, if my mom calls me, I feel better. If my dog doesn't bark at the postman, things are, there's a little more reliability in a lot of the other horizontal attachments that we have. Okay, good. So now that we're all vertically aligned, and we have nice healthy boundaries, and we're spinning our spheres, I'm going to add one more thing. And now we're going to go into the inner sanctuary part of this exercise. So if you're watching this on YouTube, if you want to join for the actual group healing deed, you're welcome to join us every Friday, most Fridays, over on the Spirit Gate Cancer Support Facebook group. Okay, and you don't have to have cancer. And we include animals because they're amazing, and because I feel like animals and people are together in life, so why not inside these healings? I feel like they contribute a lot. Their needing us helps us heal. All right.